Is your iPhone quietly tracking more about you than you realize? From AI features that share your data to photos that can reveal your exact location, there are a handful of settings on your iPhone that you'll want to double check, but you need to know where to look in order to change them. So in this video, I'll walk you through 10 settings, show you exactly how to adjust them, and explain why they matter. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with your photos, because this is something a lot of people overlook. Every picture that you take on your iPhone carries hidden data, including the exact location of where that photo was taken. And if you send it to someone or post it online, by default, you include that data. So you might be giving away your home address or your child's school without even realizing that you're doing it. To avoid that, open the Photos app and select a photo. Tap the share button in the bottom left corner, then tap Options at the top of the screen. Here you'll see a switch for location. Turn it off and the photo will be shared without any coordinates attached. The only issue here is that you'll have to do this for every photo that you share. If you'd rather switch this off completely, head to Settings, scroll to Privacy and Security, then Location Services. Tap into Camera. You've got a couple of options here. You could disable Precise Location, which would only allow your phone to keep an approximate location when you take a photo, or you could change it to Never. The issue here is that this is the control for the location data of your photos in general. So disabling this does mean that you also miss out on some really good location-based features. Next up, let's look at Apple Intelligence. One of the biggest issues here is that, in reality, Apple Intelligence isn't all that intelligent and relies pretty heavily on ChatGPT. Now, in general, this is an opt-in feature, but some users have reported of it being enabled by default on their devices after updates. So it is worth checking to see if your phone is communicating with ChatGPT or not. To check, open Settings and go to Apple Intelligence and Siri. If you don't see that, you don't have an Apple Intelligence capable phone, you can skip this tip anyway. If you want to stop everything Apple Intelligence related, you can turn off Apple Intelligence at the top, or you can scroll down, tap ChatGPT under Extensions, and switch off Use ChatGPT if you want to keep Apple Intelligence features in general, but disable the link with ChatGPT. If you'd prefer finer control, there is another setting that most users don't know about. Go back into Settings, tap Screen Time, then Content and Privacy Restrictions. Inside, you'll find Intelligence and Siri. This lets you block specific AI features like image generation, writing tools, or ChatGPT, which would be in Intelligence Extensions, without switching everything off at once. It is entirely up to you how much you keep on. I personally use ChatGPT a lot in my life in general, so I'm not too concerned by this feature, but you might feel differently, and now you know how to make the necessary changes. Of course, in a video all about iPhone data security, it would be remiss of me not to mention browsing the web using a VPN, especially if you're making use of free Wi-Fi. And that's where today's video sponsor comes in, private internet access. Because if you're online with an unprotected device, you're transmitting a lot of data that can be seen by various entities before it gets to where you wanted it to go. I'm talking your ISP, government sensors, hackers, and more. A VPN like PIA encrypts your traffic, hides your IP address, and makes your browsing totally private. In fact, using the internet without a VPN like PIA is like leaving your phone out on a table at a cafe. It might be fine, but all it takes is one bad person to ruin your day. But with private internet access, it's like zipping it away in a secure inner pocket. Totally protected, totally invisible. But security isn't all it does. With servers in 91 countries and all 50 US states, PIA lets you bypass region restrictions so you can keep watching your favorite shows even if you're traveling abroad. It works across all platforms and protects unlimited devices, and their no logs policy has even been proven in court. Right now, you can get 86% off plus 4 months free using my link piavpn.com/pht. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee. Check out the link in the description to get started. Something else you want to double-check is iPhone Analytics. This is buried deep in Settings, and it's where you can decide whether to send usage data and even location information to Apple. Now, Apple does say that this is anonymized and only ever used to improve their services, but a couple of things to consider here. First, why should we, as paying consumers, be helping Apple like this? And second, some users have claimed in the past that they've toggled these settings off, only to find them switched back on after a phone update. So to review them, open Settings, go to Privacy and Security, then scroll right down to Analytics and Improvements. In here, you'll see a long list of options for iPhone Analytics, iCloud Analytics, Siri and dictation, even data to help improve AR location accuracy. Unless you specifically want to share this data, I would recommend turning them all off. It is better for your privacy, and as a bonus, you'll even get an admittedly tiny battery boost thanks to you not having to upload the data included here. While you're still in privacy and security, it is worth checking Apple's advertising settings too. Most people think of targeted ads as something that Google or Facebook do, but Apple also runs its own ad system inside the App Store, News, and Stocks. By default, your iPhone uses your app activity to personalize those ads. Like everything Apple, they claim that this is privacy-centric and that they don't share your personal data with third parties or track you across apps and websites. But if you want maximum privacy, you're still going to want to switch this off. To switch it off, come back out to privacy and security and tap into Apple advertising and turn off personalized ads. You'll still see ads, but they'll be more generic and less personalized. So you're ultimately going to have to decide what you care about the most here. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, you should definitely check out the Proper Weekly. It's my free weekly newsletter that lands in your inbox every Friday, packed with tech news from the week, content that I've been enjoying, and a handy tip for the Apple ecosystem. Just scan the QR code on screen to sign up or follow the link in the description. Another place where your iPhone can quietly give away information is through location services in general. Now, I'm not suggesting that you turn them off entirely. Apps like Maps obviously need your location to function, but there are certain services that probably don't, and I think it is worth being selective with your precise location. In Settings, go to Privacy and Security, then Location Services. Scroll down through the list and you'll see every app that's requested access. Pay attention to any that say always instead of while using the app. Unless it's something like Find My, I would recommend switching most of these to while using or even never. Also, tap into some of the third-party apps in particular and find out if any of them are accessing your precise location, because you'd be amazed which apps are able to do this. Ride-sharing and food delivery apps need this, but loads of apps simply don't need it, so it is worth taking a few minutes to have a bit of a clear out. And if you scroll all the way down to System Services, you'll find another long list of things that your iPhone tracks in the background, like location-based alerts, iPhone analytics, and significant locations. Some of these might be useful if you make use of the specific service that they're attached to, but you might see some here that you know that you don't want. I would definitely recommend most people to disable all of the product improvement options, for example. There's a feature on your iPhone called Safety Check, and I'm going to guess that you probably don't know about it because most people I speak to have no idea that this exists. It was designed for situations where your personal safety might be at risk, but it is just as useful for doing a regular privacy audit. So to find it, open Settings, scroll down to Privacy and Security, and then tap Safety Check. You'll see an option called Emergency Reset. This will instantly stop sharing your location, reset all app privacy permissions, and sign you out of iCloud on every other device. It is clearly a significant step, and only for those situations where you really need something quick and drastic. If you don't need something that drastic, you can use Manage Sharing and Access instead. That gives you a list of the people, apps, and devices that currently have access to your information, and you can switch things off one by one. There's even a quick exit button in the top corner, which closes the screen immediately if you need to get out of it fast. Even if you never need the emergency option, it is worth checking this menu once in a while just to make sure you're only sharing what you actually want to share. You've probably seen the pop-ups on your iPhone where an app asks if it can track your activity across other apps and websites. Most people, I think, do choose Ask App Not to Track, and that is exactly what I would personally recommend. But here's something you might not realize. You can actually stop those requests from showing up altogether. And because I honestly have never found a situation where I think it's worth allowing an app to track you, I would recommend that you do this. Open Settings, go to Privacy and Security, then tap Tracking. At the top of the screen, you'll see a switch called Allow Apps to Request to Track. If you turn that off, apps won't even be able to ask for permission in the first place. It means that they're blocked by default, so you don't have to deal with the pop-ups, but you also know that you're never going to agree by accident. Apple added this a couple of years ago as part of their app tracking transparency push, and it's one of the quickest ways to stop third-party apps from building a profile about you in the background. And finally, your web browser can give away more about you than almost anything else, so it is worth checking the settings for Safari. Go to Settings, scroll down to the bottom and choose Apps. then scroll down to Safari. In here, head to the Privacy and Security section and make sure that Prevent Cross-Site Tracking is turned on. This stops companies from following you around the web from one site to the next. I would also recommend heading into Hide IP Address and selecting from Trackers. This stops websites and advertisers from seeing a device's real IP address when you're browsing the web, making it harder for companies to follow your activity and build a profile about you. While you're in here, I would also recommend turning on Fraudulent Website Warning, which will give you an alert if you're about to visit a known scam site. This one isn't so much about tracking, it's just a good setting to have enabled, especially if you're not massively confident in your ability to spot a fraudulent website. And if you want to do a quick cleanup, scroll down to Advanced, tap Website Data and press Remove All Website Data at the bottom. This clears out any cookies or cached information that sites have already stored on your iPhone. Between these options, Safari becomes a lot harder to track and your browsing stays much more private. So there you go. Between photo metadata, Apple Intelligence, analytics, ads, and location services, there are a lot of ways that your iPhone can share more than you'd like. None of these take long to adjust, but together they can make a really big difference in keeping your personal data private. What do you think? Are you happy leaving most of these on, or are you planning to switch them off? Let me know in the comments. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video. Thanks again to Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's video. Click the link in the description for 86% off plus 4 months free.